Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice, Beetlejuice.
It's showtime.
Whether photographs or little writings or sketches, for me, are the most important part of any project. I mean, because once I'm doing it, I'm like when I have to communicate with people, it's not easy for me. So the important work has to be done like in these little private projects.
Tim Burton is an American filmmaker, animator, and artist. Tim is best known for his gothic and horror fantasy films such as Edward Scissorhands, Corpse Bride, Nightmare Before Christmas, Beetlejuice, Batman 1989, Alice in Wonderland, and James and the Giant Peach.
I grew up watching sort of fantasy films that were always seemingly things that weren't real in a way, but that always spoke to me. So I've always been fascinated by things that are fantasy, but you try to tap into some sort of real feeling with it. And
Tim majored in animation at the California Institute of Arts. He got his start by working as a Disney animator. Tim quickly set out on his own and became best known for creating his most famous visually striking films that blend both fantasy and horror. Tim's film for Batman in 1989, it became the first film to reach $100 million over its first 10 days of release.
In the following year, Tim created Edward Scissorhands, that starred Johnny Depp and Winona Ryder. Edward Scissorhands was acclaimed for being both social satire and a tale of love. In one of Tim's most famous films, Nightmare Before Christmas, was created with the painstaking process of stop-motion animation. The film became a huge success, and Tim was credited for his technical powers. Tim's most recognizable film, Beetlejuice, is often considered the prototypical Burton film. The film was recognized for the visual flair and themes of fantasy and horror. Corpse Bride is a stop-motion animated film that received an Oscar nomination for the Best Animated Feature Film. The color scheme for Corpse Bride is unique. In the living world, it is a variety of greys, dark blue, and a small hint of white. Overall, the living world is very gloomy, without any sign of happiness, whereas the dead world is very bright with a variety of many colors, such as green, purple, a small hint of red, and bright blue. Overall, the dead world shows that being dead is happier than being alive.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it was sort of symbolic to me of how I grew up, where the sort of society feeling quite repressive, and like everything in its place, and everybody put into a category, which is the way I felt sort of growing up. And then the Land of the Dead was sort of symbolically representative of your creative mind, which is much more colorful and much more vibrant, and much more visual stuff going on. So it wasn't meant to be so literal as it was to be sort of that symbolic.
In 2010, Tim created an adaptation of Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland, which starred Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter, who star in most of Tim's films.
James and the Giant Peach is based off Roald Dahl's children's tale. The design for the film is unique and works very well. We can see this by having the first half of the film with actors and the second half of the film being animated. The transition from human to animation was well done and was made in a way that was clean and showed the imagination James had. Tim Burton has always been able to catch the attention of the audience into the depths of his imagination. In his films, it's a world full of both dark and light, frightening and welcoming, cruel and tender, where darkness blends with bright colours, with weird-looking people and monsters are brave and generous, and where the horrible becomes the poetic. Tim expresses himself through his art. Tim Burton is well known for his dark-coloured themed films and his recognisable animation style, which is unique and is only his style of art.